Grizzlies, and welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Grizzly K, and today we're looking at the Pike County Massacre. I see that there could be, what up, Mr. Keys? I see that there could be a family member in the chat. Welcome. We hope that, you know that we've got your back, we're on your side, and we really want to see these people go to trial. Okay, so the reason I'm covering this case is because, and we're going to get into it, trials are about to happen. Okay, so this is basically just in preparation for that, like we've done in other cases before. Now I just want to put it out there that I only spent all day making a presentation, and it only just went poof, just gone, just decided to just not be able to download and just disappear. So I'm going to have to pull a rabbit out of a hat now, and I've got a little bit of my presentation that saved, the rest did not, but we're going to do our best. Okay, all right, so let me take this crawl line off. Thank you, mods, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Welcome to Membership Heavenly Clouds. All right. Okay, so sorry, I'm just saying hi to everyone. Yeah, I've got my Wheezy shirt on. I do. Yes, Mr. Keys, I've got it on. Okay. Now, this, I know, for you, Stefan's like, no. Can you imagine, Stefan, what it was like for me? And all of you talk to me behind the scenes, you know how much I was like, no, because my presentation just went, gone. But anyway, it's okay. It's okay. I handle pressure well, and we're going to do this, okay? We're going to look at this case. And what, of course, we want is justice for the victims. That's always the goal. And in this case, at least, the 4 family members that are responsible for wiping out 8 people. Have you ever heard of something like this? This is the most notorious massacre and criminal investigation that has ever taken place in Ohio. And it happened in April of 2016. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Damn. It's a long time ago, Have you guys can hear me, right? Jennifer saying no sound. Can you hear me, right? Just checking. Hello. Okay. Welcome, Annette. Okay, great. Yeah, just refresh if you don't hear anything. Sometimes that helps. So the Pike County Massacre happened on April 22nd, 2016. There were 8 victims, all from the Rhoden family, and they were all aged between 16 and 44. Okay, so I put these are the pictures that they have of the victims. And again, I'm so sorry to the family member and any family members watching for your loss. I've seen some of the interviews and things, and it's absolutely terrible. What happened here is horrendous, and motive is like, wait, what? When you try to understand the story layer by layer and look at everything, you're like, what? So strange. So hold on. We have, I want to do it in order. Christopher Rhoden Jr., 16, which is Christopher Rhoden Sr. and Dana's son. So right next to me, 16. And then next to is Christopher Rhoden Sr., age 40, murdered. All of them murdered. Wow. In one night. Dana Manley Rhoden, 38, Christopher's ex-wife. Okay. And then we have Hanna Gilly, and who's Frankie Rhoden's fiance. Don't worry, we're going to get into this. Okay. Just, this is like layer 1. I might as well call this episode part 1 because, oh my word. And we've also got Hanna Rhoden, 19. We're going to get into that as well. Christopher and Dana's daughter. Are you taking notes? And then Clarence Frankie Rhoden, 20. Christopher and Dana's son. They'll name everyone. Christopher Rhoden, Kenneth Rhoden, Christopher's older brother. It's like, wow. Whole family, like mom, dad, who are exes, children, cousins, everyone. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? So sad. Like 8 people, one night, 4 different properties. Okay, so we are going to do some map time so that we can see it visually, right? Like what are we talking about? All right. So these are the faces of the killers. What's up, Lena? Oh, my whizzle, says Angela. Oh, my whizzle. Right? Do a map time family tree. That's what I had on my presentation. Gone. Anyway, it's okay. Some other people have done some of those. We can look at that. George Billy Wagner III, right? Now, his trial is coming up by October 31st. So he's the daddy, okay, George Wagner III. And he is married to Angela Wagner. Okay? Now he's pleading not guilty. So he's going to trial. Okay? And that's starting October 31st, 2022. This is what we need to know. What are we waiting for? Trial. Triller. And his son, the one son, there's two sons, right? George Wagner IV. His trial is coming up by the end of this month. This is a death penalty case. But if you look at Edward Jake Wagner, and we're going to look at that connection to the Rhoden family, he pleaded guilty because for 5 years, they was like, they're all like, not guilty, not guilty, not talking, no one's talking, what. And then Edward over here, Jake, you see, he took one for the team here and said, okay, I'll plead guilty to all counts as long as you make sure that me and my family do not get the death penalty. So he is serving, well, not serving, sorry, he's still going to trial. But he will be facing 8 consecutive life. Oh, no, he's not going to trial. Sorry, he is. He's now been sentenced or serving 8 consecutive life sentences, saving his whole family and himself from the death penalty, unless in the trial of both George's daddy and eldest son, in those trials, Jake and the mother can actually testify against them. And if they mess that up, well, then they mess up their plea deal. You see what I mean? Okay. And it's like, what? We're going to say a lot of that today. I've really been trying to wrap my mind around this case for a little while now. I've got all the documents, of course, from Document Dude, which is the docket at Chasing Paper 89 on Twitter. I've looked at all the documents. It's absolutely extensive. They each have 22 counts, including 8 counts of aggravated murder and a whole bunch. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right. I'm not sure, Matthew. So if we go on, sorry, Angela, she pleaded guilty. So she's serving 30 years and then will testify against her hubby and her son. And as you can see, Jake pleaded guilty and he's got 8 life sentences, avoiding the death penalty for him and his family. Okay, so we got it. So which trials are coming up? It's the Daddy George, okay? Daddy George, known as Billy Wagner III. He was in the trailer I put together for you guys, getting arrested. That was fun to watch. And there's a lot of footage on this case, a lot. I cannot present it to you in one day, okay? But anyway, the point is he was arrested, right? We're going to see even that. I said where he was arrested. In Kentucky. They followed him, swooped in. We'll get into it. But the trials coming up is for George Billy Wagner III, and that will be by Halloween, okay? And then we've also got his son, George Wagner IV. His trials coming up starting by the end of this month. Okay. Yeah, the little kids still have parents living, the little kids. They do. But I think the kids, if family's in the house, are all the kids, we're going to get into the surviving kids, which was absolutely horrendous. Are they all in Child Protective Services? Wow, that is sad. Right, on the morning of April 22nd, 2016, 911 dispatchers receive a call alerting them to multiple deaths in the Rhoden family. 6 adults and 1 teenager had been shot to death across 3 properties on Union Hill Road in Piketon, Ohio. And then 1 adult was shot to death. He was shot 9 times. So it was actually not him shot. Now I changed this. My presentation is not up to speed. Anyway, 1 adult was shot 9 times, but this other adult was shot to death at a property 15 miles away. In rural settings, it's common for close-knit families to live in proximity to each other. So on this little map I've got, we can do some map time in a moment. You can just see that Dana, Hanna, and Christopher Rhoden Jr. were living at one property, and then Clarence, Frankie Rhoden, and Hanna Gilly were living at another. And I believe their baby, newborn, 4 or 5 days old, okay? Some articles say 4, some say 5. The baby was lying between them when they were both shot in the bed, and they left the baby alive, okay? And then Christopher Rhoden Sr., he was shot 9 times, and Gary Rhoden, wow. This is crazy. Another new one for me says faux fauna. Yes. Okay, so now we get into a little bit. Rob, give Mr. Keys a high five. Yes. Okay. So this guy, here we go. Now you've seen the family tree, right? So we've got Daddy George, we've got Angela, the wife, we've got the son, George as well, and then we've got Jake. Now, Jake seems to be the problem child, okay? Because Jake dated Hanna Rhoden, red flag since she was 13. Okay, that's not legal. Okay, and had a daughter with her that he wanted full custody of when they broke up. Okay, now the story gets deeper, but I'm just giving you guys an overview because it seems like from her social media posts, there was a history of DV in this relationship, which is so sad to think that if he was a DV type abuser, think about how much his family enabled him. Think about his mom and dad and brother enabling him to the point where they all conspire and think up a way to wipe out Hanna. She was the target, and her whole family, just so that they can snatch his child, which is also her child, away from her, a 2-year-old, okay? Get that child for himself and for themselves. It's very strange, right? But I do believe that there was also beef going on between Billy Wagner, the father, and Christopher Rhoden. They were also apparently having some beef, okay? I don't know how old he was then. Sure. Yeah, DV, surprise, surprise. I know we've seen so many of these cases, right? So what was their motive? We're going to get into it. So Hanna didn't want to give up custody of the child, right? And the Wagners, the killers, the Wagners, decided they're going to forge custody documents, and they were trying to force her to sign it. And she said, no, she's not going to sign it. So you know what they all did? This family, the Wagner family, conspired to murder her entire family, take his child away. They planned everything meticulously, even hacking the Rhoden social media accounts, especially Hanna's, following everything she was saying. And she said to a friend on, I believe, Instagram, she said, well, they'll have to kill me if they ever want this child, because there's no way I'm giving my child up. So he obviously took that literally, like, what? They're going to have to kill me. They're like, okay, kill the whole family. Like, what? So they hacked the Rhoden social media accounts. They set up surveillance cameras to watch them and to start learning their habits. And then on April 22nd, 2016, sometime between April 21st and 2nd, in the middle of the night, they murdered 8 members of the Rhoden family, point blank, in their homes. It's crazy. And they didn't just, sorry for a trigger warning. Okay, trigger warning. I'm not going to get graphic. I just want to say there's no just, but you know what I mean when I say just. They didn't just go in there and like shoot each one once. Oh, no. Many times. The one, Christopher Sr., 9 times. And Dana, I believe they shot 4 times in the front of her head and once under her jaw. Like they really went, it was total overkill, So crazy, on my word. Brothers, Cohen brother. I know, right? Okay. Now, after the whole massacre, the Wagners decided, you know what the next smartest thing is going to be? We're not a red flag. I mean, Pike County's only got 30,000 people, but we're not a red flag, Okay. So they decided to pack up, sell their properties, and move to Alaska for a few months. Alaska. And apparently Jake married some young woman there, and then he was abusing her. And wow, that's another whole story I want to deep dive. This is a very hectic case. Oh, Saint says this happened close-ish to me. Whoa. I know, right? How do you get several sane people to all agree to something so crazy? Total overkill. Total. All right. So they go to Alaska for a few months. They didn't last there for very long. A few months. And then people started recognizing them because of the news, And so they decided, whoops, okay, let's come back to Pike County. Let's come back. But they were only arrested in November of 2018. So it took more than 2 years to actually gather all the evidence. They got over 770 tips. I think they have so much forensic evidence that it's going to, these trials might take 60 days to go through because of all the exhibits they have. So they're saying no matter what kind of killers they are, a lot of times killers make mistakes, especially when there's so many people involved, right? Okay, I already put this here. At least that saved you a little bit. We saw that. And then the rest of my presentation absolutely fell apart. It just left the building. At least they were, super stupid about it. I know, right? So now what I want to show you here is this. Okay, let's put it like this. Right. So the Rhoden family. Most of the members of the Rhoden family who were found dead lived in homes along Union Hill Road in rural southern Ohio. In all, 8 members of the family were found shot to death April 22nd, 2016 in 4 houses in Pike County. Family members who died, and rest in peace to them, and let's fight for their justice, right? Wow. So we know Jake's already going to he'll never, ever get out of prison. 8 consecutive life sentences. Angela, 30 years. Okay. So I don't know if she's going to get out in her 70s or 80s. If she will be up for parole then, I'm sure. But then we don't know if she's actually getting out or not. Yeah. Give me a thumbs up. Karen Lee says, sorry about your presentation. If you like how I'm covering it anyway, instead of canceling or something like that, because I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to be here with you guys and discuss this. So if you like that, you know what to do. Hit the thumbs up. Okay. So Jake, never getting out. Angela, she's going to serve 30 years. Ooh, but then let's see what happens with Billy, the father, and George, the fourth. Yeah, how did they think they actually thought they would. They thought they were so smart, right? Thank you for saying, like, what the fudge is wrong with people? Thank you for, censoring it. It really helps, because in the YouTube world, sometimes, even in the chat, they can flag the chat for saying, this is now getting inappropriate. We will just flag this video and make sure no one sees it. Wow. Thank you, Rob. Thank you for always encouraging me. So the family members who died were, and I'm so sorry if you can't see it, it's a zoom in, shall we? Christopher Rhoden Sr., 40. Kenneth Rhoden, 44, which is Christopher's older brother. Then we've got Gary Rhoden, 38, the cousin of Christopher and Kenneth. Dana Manley Rhoden, 38, Christopher's ex-wife. So she lived fairly close. The family stayed close even though Dana and Christopher Sr. were divorced. Then Clarence Frankie Rhoden, 20, Christopher and Dana's son. And then Hanna Rhoden, 19, Christopher and Dana's daughter. And then Christopher Rhoden Jr., 16, Christopher and Dana's son. And Hannah Gilly, 20, Frankie Rhoden's fiance. Right? The killers spared 3 young children who were found in the homes unharmed. Now, this is crazy. I don't know if you've all seen Dexter, but it reminds me of Dexter. When he has those flashbacks the whole time when he's sitting in sorry, I don't want to trigger the family or anything. I'm just saying, in Dexter, when he's sitting in the crime scene, put it that way. It's so terrible because these 3 young children, one was just 4 days old. Okay, so hold on. 3 young children were spared. So thank goodness they were spared. But damn, the trauma, even if they can't remember it, it's going to be in them. You know what I mean? Which is so sad. So they were Kylie Rhoden, Hannah Rhoden's newborn daughter, who was just 4 days old and found in bed with her mother's body. Ruger Rhoden, the then 6-month-old son of Frankie Rhoden and Hannah Gilly, who both died, and Brentley Rhoden, the son of Frankie from another relationship, who was 3 years old at the time. Now there was a 4th child, and this is why it's like, red flag. This is Sophia Wagner, Hannah's daughter, Jake's daughter. She was the only one that wasn't there. So the Wagners did what they wanted to do, execute the whole family and take Sophia and run off to Alaska. I mean, wow, like as if they'll never get caught, right? She was 2 years old at the time, and the daughter of Hannah, who died, and her former boyfriend, Jake Wagner, who's charged in the deaths. Sophia was with her father the night of the killings, and authorities have said the custody fight between the Rhodens and Wagners over Sophia is a central motive in the deaths. Sophia is now 6 years old, was last reported to be in custody of Children's Services. I mean, that is just so sad because her mother's dead, murdered, and her father's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. The Wagner family accused in the Rhoden deaths lived at a Peebles farm in Adams County. I was wondering, where did they live? Just southwest of Pike County in Ohio, because how far was it, right? The Wagners sold the farm in the spring of 2017 before moving to Alaska. Family members who've been accused in the Rhoden deaths include George Billy Wagner III. See, now the presentation will help because you can visualize it, right? George Billy Wagner III, 48. He's going to trial. Angela Wagner, 49, Billy's wife. George Wagner IV, 28, Billy and Angela's son. And Edward Jake Wagner, 27, Billy and Angela's son. All 4 family members are in custody, but it's been updated since then, right? But they're being held in separate facilities without bond. Each is charged with aggravated murder, burglary, tampering with evidence, corrupt activity, among other charges. And the charges are huge. It is so extensive, right? All right. Oh my word, this case is so crazy. Honestly, to try to wrap your mind around this, I hope my presentation is making sense to you, but like, what? Who's on first? It's going to be the son, George Wagner IV, his trial should start by the end of this month. There's been lots of delays because of the Rona, and it should start end of this month. And then by the end of October, the dad's one will start. So it's going to be so hectic. And to think that Angela, the wife or mother, wife/mother, and Jake can actually testify against them. It's going to be so interesting, but it could last 60 days. So it's not like I'm going to, I'll break down what I can break down and follow what I can. But you guys know, man, I'm a bit hyperactive to sit and watch trials for hours and hours, but I'll do my best to follow the updates and let you guys know how it goes, right? Okay, so whenever there's kind of big trials coming up or, things like that I haven't seen covered too much on social media. Again, thank you to the docket on Twitter for inspiring me to cover this case. Him and I were chatting and we're like, whoa, this case is crazy. Like, why is no one talking about this? So, like, it's not all over social media, you know what I mean? And it's absolutely crazy. Oh, my word. Okay. So Billy is at the Butler County Jail, Jake at the Franklin County Jail, George at the Ross County Jail, and Angela at the Delaware County Jail. Wow. Both the maternal and paternal. Now, this is interesting. And I had a damn slide for this, but now it's nowhere. So, these ones. Wait, let me show you this. Okay. So, above me here, we have Billy and his wife, Angela. Their mothers were also arrested and charged with perjury and obstruction of justice. But then their charges were dropped later. So, they obviously, I don't know, they investigated them thoroughly and find a bunch of stuff that they're like, okay, never mind. So their charges, from what I understand, have been dropped. But man, to think that these four were arrested and each one's mother-in-law over here, whoa, wow. That was like a whole nother layer when I'm like, sorry, what? Excuse me, what now? Anyway, so let's put this one up. Okay. So both maternal, paternal have been charged in connection with the Rhoden deaths. Frederica Wagner, 77, and Rita Newcomb, 67, were accused of perjury, obstructing justice, and forgery. In June of 2019, the charges against Frederica were dropped. So there you go. Rita, the mother of Angela, pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor count of obstructing official business. She's accused of forging a birth certificate, involved in the custody dispute over Sophia Wagner. In exchange for the plea, felony charges against Newcomb were dropped. She's awaiting sentencing. So, okay, interesting. She's awaiting sentencing still. Rita. Okay. So they're not all dropped. It's Frederica's ones were dropped. Here are the specifics when it comes to the Rhoden deaths of 4 years ago. On April 22nd, 2016, 8 members of the Rhoden family are found shot to death in 4 homes in Pike County. Spring 2017, investigators searched the Wagner's family property. Please, let's concentrate on finding the real monsters who did this, Jake Wagner wrote. Oh my word. Jake. The dude, the DV dude, the one who convinced his whole family basically to do this, I would say, speculatively. He wrote to the Cincinnati Enquirer, please, let's concentrate on finding the real monsters who did this. I mean, what? Okay, sorry. Focus. So spring 2017, the Wagner family sold their farm in Peebles in Adams County and moved to Alaska. Then in June 2017, Ohio Attorney General and Pike County Sheriff Charles Reeder begins to ask the public for information about the Wagner family. The family is yet to be named as suspects. September 2018, autopsy reports are released. It appears that Christopher Rhoden Sr., the family patriarch, was awake when he was shot and killed. The rest of the family members were killed in their sleep. So he had bruises and defense wounds, and they say he could have been beaten up before he was shot and was trying to defend himself. Wow. Yeah, 4 homes. So scary. No witnesses except for the 3 children who were too young to remember and obviously can't testify, right? Then October 31st, 2018, investigators searched the people's address of the farm the Wagner family sold before moving to Alaska, recovering evidence from a well on the property. This evidence leads to the arrest of 4 members of the Wagner family. November 13, 2018, Billy, Angela, George, and Jake are arrested and charged in the Rhoden family homicide. So that was a big breakthrough, because at that point, everyone in the small community, they were really scared. They're like, who did this? Why did they do this? And what is going on? They had no idea if it was 1 person, 2 people, or no one expected it's a whole family of 4, Okay. And then November 13, 2018, the mothers of Billy and Angela, Frederica Wagner, and Rita Newcomb are charged with forgery, obstructing justice, and perjury. June 26, 2019, perjury and obstructing justice charges against Frederica are dismissed. And then June 28, 2019, Pike County Sheriff Charles Reeder is indicted on 16 charges, including tampering with evidence. Wait, Pike County Sheriff Charles Rhoden is indicted. Okay, including tampering with evidence, theft, conflict of interest, writing by deception, and theft in office. Because of Reader's involvement with the Rhoden investigation, criminal justice experts agree that Reader's conviction could pose a serious obstacle to the prosecution of the Wagners. That's all. Look at that. That's a whole nother deep dive right there. This case is crazy. Oh, my word. Reader is suspended from his position. Officials say he was using his office to get money to support a gambling problem. Did you see that? That's a whole nother layer. November 2019, investigators again searched Frederica Wagner's sprawling farm for evidence. Those search warrants are sealed from public view. And then December 2nd, 2019, Rita Newcomb agrees to a plea deal, pleading guilty to a reduced misdemeanor charge of obstructing official business. Felony charges of forgery, perjury, and obstructing justice are dismissed. So they say, what's next? Authorities estimate investigators have conducted tens of thousands of hours of investigative work, followed more than 1,100 tips from the public, conducted 550 interviews, tested more than 700 items of evidence, and served more than 200 subpoenas, search warrants, and court orders across 10 states, apparently, as well. All 4 members of the Wagner family have pleaded not guilty, except now we've got an update with that, which we've seen. Now, see, here's a nice little map, okay? It's a map of people, I suppose. So here we've got Frederica Wagner, the mother of George, charges dropped, right? Then Rita Newcomb, the mother of Angela. We've got George and Edward. So we've got these two that are going to trial. This one serving 30 years, this one serving 8 life sentences. And this is how they were connected. This is the kind of the beautiful map that I'd made for you guys, but never mind. Yeah, map time, Rob. This is like family map time, right? Yeah, too many questions and lots of deep dives. I know, right? So you can see Edward Jake Wagner had dated Hanna Rhoden, and they had a child together, Sophia. And that's what this whole family wanted. They wanted Sophia with them. They didn't want Hanna to have Sophia. But like, damn, they wanted to forge birth certificates. They wanted to forge custody documents. She wasn't having it. So you know what? This entire family over here decides, you know what we're going to do? Just wipe out this whole family. That's crazy. So there's Hanna. Okay. Now her mother, if we look, is Dana. And Dana's husband is Christopher Rhoden. Christopher's the one that had defense wounds and was shot 9 times. Man. And then their children are Hanna, Christopher Rhoden Jr. He was only 16 at the time. One of the minors, the only minor killed, the rest were adults. And Clarence Frankie Rhoden, okay? And Clarence Frankie Rhoden was engaged to Hanna Gilly, and they had a child, Ruger. I hope that's said right. Ruger. And he also had a previous son, Brentley. And then if you look at Christopher Rhoden Sr., his cousin is Gary Rhoden. And then his brother is Kenneth Rhoden. Okay. Way too young to go, I know, right? So this map helps a lot. So thank you to the Columbus Dispatch. And thank you to my VPN. I think it was Elizabeth James, one of the Grizzlies, donated some PayPal to me specifically for the VPN, which is ExpressVPN. I'm not sponsored at all, but it really, really, really helps. It's a really great VPN. It helps me see all these articles from the Netherlands. Otherwise, I can't. So thank you. Thank you so, so much. Thank you to everyone who sends PayPals for equipment and VPNs and, you know, all my subscriptions that I have to make all these things. So I really, really appreciate it. Oh, sorry. More info on kids. Beverly Ross. Okay, wait. I'm going there. I'm trying to. Okay. Brantley's with his mother. Ruger and Kylie are with Hanna. Okay, this is great news. Okay, wait. Brantley's with his mother. Ruger and Kylie are with Hanna Gilly's sister. And Sophia is in an undisclosed location with the Rhoden family. Thank you so much, Beverly, for updating us. That's good news. You know, that at least they're with family. We wouldn't want them to be with Child Protective Services. No. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here. We absolutely want justice for every family member here murdered. And can you imagine the extended family? Wow. Even the extended family that found them. That is so traumatic. So I don't know. Did you guys see you saw my trailer, huh? Hope so. Put a 1 in the chat if you saw the trailer and a 2 if you did not. Hope you did, because there you can hear parts of the 911 call as well. All right. Are we confused, Heavenly Clouds? What are we confused about? Yeah. So the thing is, if we go look here now, here we can look at the motive. They'd have to kill me. Evidence reveals motive in the Rhoden massacre. 1. Okay, great. Most of you saw it. Awesome. So Pike County, Ohio. If you didn't see it, go see it afterwards, please. Family who's who. Okay. But Heavenly Clouds, I hope that you will look at the map, screenshot it if you need to, check it out, because we've just looked at the family map time, right? Okay. Pike County, Ohio. Hanna May Rhoden's. So remember Hanna, Jake's ex-girlfriend, right? The one he had a daughter with, Sophia. Hanna May Rhoden's refusal to sign forged legal documents granting custody of her 2-year-old daughter to Jake Wagner, the child's father, is ultimately what cost her life and the lives of 7 of her family members. So they say that that's the motive, right? That's the only motive. But the thing is, I've seen from documents, legal documents, that the family, the Wagners, Billy Wagner, the dad, had some kind of beef with Christopher Sr. I don't think they liked each other much. Not that that's any reason to do what they did. I think it was that. And then on top of it, Jake being like, she won't give me my child or something, right? Okay. Prosecutors had previously sketched the custody dispute in vague outlines. Specifics of the dispute are among the new details emerging after Jake Wagner on Thursday accepted a plea deal in the 2016 massacre. Also new, Jake Wagner pulled the trigger in 5 of the execution-style killings. In a lot of the articles and videos I see, they say he admitted that he only killed 5 of the victims. Like only. You can't say only. He murdered 5 out of 8 of the victims himself. My word. Life in prison, 8 sentences. It remains unclear whether he murdered the mother of his child. That's interesting, psychologically, right? I would assume so, though. The guilty plea came 5 years to the day after the infamous Pike County murders that spawned, according to Governor Mike DeWine, the largest investigation in Ohio's history. The investigation uncovered a complicated, carefully planned mass murder that leveraged surveillance cameras and hacked social media accounts. I wonder how they hacked their social media accounts. Oh, my word. Said DeWine on Thursday, this was cold blood. This was calculated, planned out. It just chills you to think about. Charges remain against 3 other members of the Wagner family. In exchange for removal of the death penalty, in all 4 cases, Jake Wagner confessed, pleaded guilty to 23 charges, and led investigators to the weapons and vehicles used. So he's the snitch in the family, right? Honestly, he was always the weakest link, am I right? My word. Problem child and the snitch. Wow. Oh, my word. Okay, moving on. He will serve 8 life sentences without parole and testify against the others. The plea deal revealed Jake Wagner was trying to force Hanna May Rhoden, then 19, to sign forged court documents giving over custody of the girl, now 7, who today is in the care of surviving members of the Rhoden family. Okay, there you go. Jake Wagner was charged with unlawful sexual conduct with a minor for having contact with Hanna May Rhoden when she was 15 and he was 20. So there's the age gap there. And already dating from when she was 13, from what I've read, right? All right. Sorry, guys, I'm focusing here. Don't want to miss out on what you're saying. Thank you, mods, for taking care of that. Hope you guys are okay. Thank you to all the lurkers, haters, viewers, subscribers. If you haven't yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, thumbs up, share the episode, because we're getting ready for trial, right?